Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:4-7. Oh, there. Hopefully you can hear me. And I'm going to move this because I still can't figure out how to get this thing to turn the volume off. I don't know. We'll set that over there so I don't get any echo for just a moment. Hey, RG. Good to see you. Hopefully you don't get echo from that there. And so, welcome. And anyone that's watching, anyone that watches in replay, I am Matt with Grafted Branch Homestead here on our urban backyard. Hey, Mr. Landfill, good to see you. And trying to learn skills and things now. And so this stream here is Garden Chat with Matt and Garden Tea with Farmer Casey. Farmer Casey's not joining me this morning, but we're going to go ahead with the stream. So normally this is about half an hour long, and started that I like to show things in the garden. It's a good time for garden tour, planting things, talking about different plants that I have, as well as tea. And then in the winter we had moved into some cooking, but that may take a segment on its own. Sound is good. Okay, cool. Thank you. So this morning I had really just wanted to hop on, say hello to everyone, keep up continuity of the stream a little bit. And so one of the things that has been getting me in today in particular, but specifically this time of year, is spring can be very stressful. There's a lot going on with seed planting, with infrastructure in the garden. Pests are starting to come out. We have last frost date. A whole myriad of things. And then outside of the garden as well, just busy time in life. It's starting to warm up. Kids are doing more activities and things. And allergies are starting for some people. Your garden's on your dining room table. Yep. So this can be a very stressful time of year. I don't traditionally tend to handle stress too well. So it's something I'm always working on. And some of the ways I'm doing that is going to definitely be through organization and then just stepping back this year. So you don't need to stress. It can be something that's easily done and is definitely, at least right now, not something crucial to do for survival. So some of the things I get behind a little bit on, and I tend or overwhelmed, and I can tend to just plant everything, and then I end up with stringy stuff and it's not the right time, or kind of giving up altogether and not planting things at all. And so I don't want to find myself in that. So it's good to be aware of that and bring some attention to that. So very stressful time of year, but doesn't have to be. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make some garden or some tea myself here this morning. And so we'll show a little bit of that. Let me grab my camera. And if you're getting echo from it, let me know. And I may just have to turn my other camera down. So what is it you have going right now, RG? Just curious, some of the plants you may have. All right, so here's my tea. So this morning, what I'm going to do is I really, really like chamomile, especially in morning teas. So I'm going to start putting some chamomile. Now, this is a natural, all-organic chamomile. This is sourced. This year, though, we're going to be planting a lot of chamomile for some of our Farmer Casey's teas. We plan on getting an area of the garden set up just for that as well. Here I got some sweet mint. One of my favorites. It smells like some peppermint may have gotten in there too. So we kind of grew all of our herbs are kind of mashed together. This year I'm going to be a little better about separating them out, as we want to be seed saving and doing those different things. Part of everything, well, I do everything for multiple reasons. Excuse me. And we want to sell some seeds, of course, for economic reasons, as well as to help people spread some things around. But by me selling them, that kind of forces me too into seed saving, into doing it properly. And that's a skill I need to be better at. And so there's a good reason. Here I got some ginger root, so some dried ginger. That's for my tummy, my belly there. And we'll tie that up. There we go. And I'm going to put that in my hot water I got here. And this is something we got a bunch of. So we'll be offering with our teas as well, but getting a lot of little things in. We're trying out to see how we like, and then we will be offering things that work well for us. So this is a little snail, little garden snail, and we can just twist our string on there, and that way our tea bag won't sink. I got some organic honey. I found a really good local honey place out in a little town near us that I'm hoping to visit maybe this spring and get some real good honey from there. So we'll let that sit for a minute. I'm going to move this camera. I'll let that cool. We can take a look at the little guys in there. They need more food and things, but I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, there we go. And let's see. So RG here is saying he found stackable unit for plants at the Family Dollar, and it was $125 a unit. Oh, how cool! That's a great deal. Yeah, keep your eyes open. There are good deals out there to be found, especially if you're getting on it early. Beans, tomatoes, and flowers. Awesome. Yep. So we got peas are going here. I haven't started my beans yet. And tomatoes I will be starting next week. I'm debating whether next week or 2 weeks, but that's when the tomatoes and peppers and things like that will be going. Flowers, yeah, awesome. So that is something that I started more so last year and really am going to be working in this year, is the importance of flower in your vegetable garden as well. It brings pollinators, as well as there's a lot of other edible and medicinal benefits to a lot of flowers. So that's something I'm going to be getting going really soon here. Another thing that can be stressful this time of year, or just to add to it for me, I guess, is now, if you haven't done it already, is a good time to prune things. So get your grapes thing cut back, fruit trees pruned. If you haven't already, I'm behind the curve, and that's something I need to get done like this week. So we'll be doing that. Family Dollar Find is a good starter for indoor, until you can put them into raised beds. Yeah, excellent. I'm also going to more raised beds this year. So everything was kind of in the ground last year, and it's great soil there. But I am trying to raise things up a little bit. So one of the beds I made was I just finished lint seed oiling some raised bed that the peas will be going in. I want to do some more raised beds this year so I can focus on keeping them maybe with a net to keep some bugs out, as well as a little more control of it. So good points there, RG. How's the weather out there where you are? Is it still snowy on the ground? Tried growing bullets, but it was a real failure. Are you talking about freedom seeds? So I'm going to show those plants in a moment. Besides that, I didn't have a whole lot to talk about this morning. Just kind of hopefully trying to relieve some stress. And if you are stressed about things, take a little breather this morning, have some tea with me, and know you're not alone. The GM bullets never regrow. Oop, some snow. Okay. Are we talking about freedom seeds? Hey, CDB, welcome. Good to see you. We're really not a lot going on this morning. This morning is about maybe talking about some of the stresses that we have going on with spring starting. in the garden or not. And then just being able to relax a little and know that it's a crazy time of year. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, yeah. So that's something I'm gonna try and try and grow this year. That's gonna be a side project, getting some of those going. So we'll see. But important things as well, most certainly. Oh, you're not too late there, CDB. Don't worry. And so I know, particularly my one of the big stresses for not for me because I don't luckily don't have it too much, but my wife and family really struggle with allergies this time of year. Um, and with wanting to be outdoors more and do those things, I don't want that to be a problem. So that's something I need to start thinking about. Um, Maybe how to address that and what plants and things as well. Oh yeah. So this is the first year I actually have a really good compost going. So I am still buying some raised bed soil and some topsoil and stuff, but I got a lot of compost this year, so I won't have to buy quite as much. That can be an expense as well. So part of relieving some stress or not being as stressed about all these things too, is practicing it, doing it every year. I get a little bit less stressed. And so for all these people that think, I got seeds, I'll just throw them in the ground if something happens and I need them and start a garden like that. Good luck. There's a lot more work to it than you think. Uh, all the way from the seed to harvest, there's a lot, and each plant is individually is different. And then you got thrown in other things in there like companion planting and the pests and all that stuff. So there's a lot to learn with gardening. So we got a lot of little seed starts going. Now's a good time too. I did want to mention for if you put seeds like some of the carrots or radishes or things like that in the ground, those can stay in the ground. They're not going to go bad right now as long as you're not too cold. And then within a couple weeks here, when it's time, they'll start popping up. It's also a good time to plant any of the things that have leafy tops that you eat. So like spinaches and stuff like that. I'm going to be starting some indoors. And then next week is really when I start a lot of those outdoor things. Carrots as well. So we'll make carrot seed tapes. I don't know if you've seen those. We did a video on it, but we basically take a strip of toilet paper, and then we make a paste out of a little bit of flour and water, kind of wet that toilet paper with it, put the seeds down the middle, the little carrot seeds or whatever small seeds you have, like fennel or whatever it may be, that you want to grow like that. And then fold it over and let that dry. And that keeps those seeds in place. It adds a little bit of sugars and things. And then I bury that strip. And so that keeps them from blowing away, washing away, or getting pecked away for those little seeds. So seed tapes are a great way to go. There is a lot of prep and gardening and more every year. And so I actually even started making my own seed starter mix this year, getting that going. There's a lot of planning as to which ones, how fast they grow, how close the lights are to them, all kinds of factors, and getting them in. So there's a lot of prep in it, especially if I'm wanting to control things a little better this year to seed save and to offer products and teas and things to sell. There's going to be some more care there as well. Uh, I have to look at, I'm going to jump into my thing where I water these plants in a minute here so I can turn this other camera off because I just hear myself talking. It's a little distracting. Super tall sunflowers. Actually, I was just thinking about that. So those next week or possibly 2 weeks, when I really get it. So next week and possibly 2 weeks, tomatoes get started in here, peppers get started in here. In about 3 weeks, the cucumbers get started in here. At that same time, next week to 2 weeks, a lot of things get started outdoors as well. I'll put sunflowers in then too. So the sunflowers have really big taproots, so I use them where I need to break up the soil. They soak up radiation and contaminants in the soil, so they're good for that. I also plant the really tall ones in certain areas to shade certain parts of the garden. So there's a lot of planning with that. Yeah. Um, yeah. A lot of uses for it. A lot of natural medicinal ones for sure. That's one you got to be careful with though, because the um, culture of it, I guess, it can become a god, I guess. It can become a huge lifestyle or something like that. And I think too many people take it away from being a medicinal thing or building supply or whatever you're using it for, and they really just make it an all-encompassing thing that they circle their life around. So that's the only problem I really have with that. Besides that, it's something I definitely think helps lots of people. Lots of people. CDB's laughing about that. Okay, so this is super distracting to me. So give me a moment. I'm going to switch over here. And all we're going to do is just water some of these little starts. But I want to show them again, the little ones I got going. Oh, you're talking about different kinds. Okay, well, my points still stand, but yeah, don't mess with that. That's funny, RG. Other weeds are very easy to grow dandelions. That's pretty funny. He would have been in prison. Yeah, not nowadays. It's kind of a different time. But that's kind of funny. All right, so these here are some of the sugar daddy sweet peas, if you can hear me. And they're about 2, 3 inches tall. So these, if it was warm enough, I'd put them outside right now. I finished the bed and I need to put their trellises in. But these can go another week. I really don't know if I want to make them go 2 weeks, but another week here. So these will be going in the ground next week, and they are pretty cold tolerant. Peas are something that once it starts warming up, they just really don't do well. They harden and die off. And in New Mexico, that time comes really quick. So these I want to get in the ground and try and harvest as much as I can off of them as quick as I can. So starting them indoors does prolong that season and really make it a viable option for me. They look so healthy. Yep. That's kind of funny. You gave me a chuckle this morning, RG. All right, so we'll get those ones watered. We got some other ones up in here. There we go. More sugar daddy sweet peas. I think out of all of these, it looks like I had 2 cells that didn't pop up. So that's a pretty good germination rate there. And we got a couple other things here. Man, baby chicks eat a lot. And then RG's saying, I guess the beans I have must be pole beans, and they're about 8 inches tall already. Oh, wow, yeah. So I want to do pole beans this year. We do like the bush beans as well. I want to do some pinto beans. Black beans is something I really want to get going this year. We had one surviving black bean plant last year. Also, now's a good time of the year, about now coming up on, to get your potatoes in the ground. If you haven't, I actually had a lot of seed start potatoes coming in the mail, and something happened in shipping. I don't know if they're going to come. Now's really the time I need to be putting them in the ground. So I'm going to be on the look for those. Here in the desert, at least I have had a lot of trouble with preserving the potatoes or things like that. It's so dry and hot here. I really need like a root cellar, I think. So I haven't had any success in saving the seed start potatoes. That's something I need to look more into. these are more. And this one had 100% germination rate. And so this was some of the toothache plants. Now this again is one I want to offer in the shop. We have a lot of it going. That's some of the chaff on top still. And this you plant just right on top. It does need that light to start to germinate. So this is a lot like daisies or chrysanthemums, things like that. So right under the light. These we planted last week. And here I have some other cool weather crops. We got broccoli going over here, and then cabbages here. And these had a pretty good germination rate as well, it looks like. We'll get those a little water and start trying that. And I'm going to move things around, sorry. These down here on the heat mat. We got some of the heat mats really helps with my germination. And these are already hit the top of the light, so I need to bring those up a little bit. My goal with this shelving unit and all is to have it tiered so I can just move them down. That hasn't really happened yet. And with the LED lights, they won't get burnt though. Over here, not doing quite as well. There's something going on. So there's some bunching onions. We also have onions that have overwintered outside. So those are still going, along with the garlic and red winter wheat. We did Egyptian walking onions as well, and those are all coming back and doing great. So when it warms up a little next week or the week after when we get outside, I want to show everyone those Egyptian walking onions. Those are really neat. If you're not familiar with those. We're just about done watering here. We'll hop over to chat again. Here we got some thyme, I believe. Oh, this one's parsley. And man, this air here just dries things out so quick. Nothing's happened here. And this is the thyme. And this is starting to pop up a little bit. It is pretty dry. You need to get some water pretty quick. You can see a little bit there. Get that little bit of water. Hop back into it. My thoroughly soaked table here. And we'll hop back over. Excuse me, Solo. Do you want to say hi? Come on. I'm going to turn this off. Okay. Hopefully that's not going to be echoing now. Come on over here, bud. Great setup for your starts. Thanks. Oh, come here. Oh, there we go. He's fighting. Say hi. That's Solo. He's my buddy. Hi, buddy. Doing okay? Solo loves carrots. He likes to dig up and eat our carrots. He likes to eat grapes and the green beans. He really likes the garden. And he will eat all the plants in it if he can. And he will... There you go. All right. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Wild onions are doing great with all the snow and melt off. That's awesome. Yeah, so I think this is the real first year, at least I paid attention to overwintering things. Excuse me. And they did a lot better than I thought. I was really surprised with the garlic and the onions, and even the red winter wheat stayed green all winter long through the snow or anything. That's a good tea. And CDBs remind everyone, yeah, hit the thumbs up if you would. It does help out a lot. And so been on for about 25 minutes. I have about 5-6 minutes left before I got to get ready for my day. I got to get these chicks some more feed and make sure the chickens and all the animals are okay. Get a few things watered and finish my lunch before I got to go to work for the day. So it can be stressful. Oh, that's the ones you found at the yeah. So my wife found them. She probably got them there too. And actually, I think those are really neat. They work really well. How cool! The dollar store is a great resource. Absolutely. Oh, and CDB's reminding people of my Etsy shop. So if you go over there, I only have quail scissors and a few things in there, but that is where seeds and things will be, and teas come summer and fall. And then hopefully my own website, if I can get that going. The puppo. And eggs. Oh, yeah. Solo will steal the quail eggs, too. I have quail rollouts in the quail shack, and if he gets in there, he'll grab the ones on the bottom and sneak off and eat them. And he thinks he's being sneaky, but I have so many of those eggs, and they're so good for him, so I really don't mind. Casey says he needs to have a hole poked in it for him to eat them, but yeah. So I guess in kind of to pull things together and leave everyone with a ray of hope, just know that this year and this time of year is very busy for a lot of people, especially if you're doing gardening and animals and all these other things. And if really just life in general, this time of year can get busy and stressful. So you're not alone. Try and make it as less stressful as possible. Again, with the verse this morning, that I shared at the very beginning, just remember, be anxious for nothing. And God is there, so we can always turn to him as well. Take care at work. Have a wonderful week. You have a wonderful week too there, RG, Mr. Landfill, CDB, Spice of Life, everyone in right now and everyone that watches later. You guys have a good week, a purposeful week, and don't let yourselves get overwhelmed, and hang in there. So till next time, we'll see you later. And actually,
remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Dewey.
Party Cooper.